Okay, another thing you could do with extrude, let's say I'm doing a spaceship or something, or a plane, or anything at all. Okay, let's go ahead and get the basic body shape of, let's say, like that. It's too tall. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make editable. Very important to make editable. I'm gonna select the faces. I'm gonna select one side right here, that side, the face, and then I'm gonna go around, hold the shift key so I can do the same thing on both sides. Okay, you don't have to. You can do one side and then what we did with symmetry, right? And it will kind of go ahead and do it. But I just want to show you how you can do it on both sides. So I have both of them selected. So now what I can go ahead and do is I can go ahead and extrude inner. So now when I go ahead and move that, I can go ahead and get a little bit inner from the body. A little bit more like that. So I can go ahead and do it again. Get a little bit more closed in, and then I can go ahead and get it out. So I can go ahead and do an extrude. So now when I extrude, not extrude in a regular extrude, I can actually go ahead and get the wings out. So I can get the wings, and I don't want the whole wings. What I want to do really is I really want to extrude just where the engine will be. So maybe the engines will be, the jets will be right here. And then I could go ahead and extrude inner again, extrude inner, and maybe here I'll go ahead and do something there and extrude some more. Now it's gonna come out. You can even extrude inner again. I can make a smaller thing where I'll get the basic wings coming out. So extrude, I'm just having fun and being fancy here a little bit. So I can get the wings as far out as I want. Oh, and the cool thing, now that I have that, I can scale those. Check it out. I can scale it. So now when I scale on Z, they're kind of tinier. And I can push them back. So I can say move. I can move them back so they look something like that. Is that cool? And let's say I want to add like maybe something on the edge there. So I could go ahead and extrude again. So they come out. And then I could take that and maybe move it up. So they kind of like, you know, hang out like that. Like a nice design like that. Alright, so that's extrude. So let's say I want to go ahead and create the front of it. So I can go ahead, deselect those faces. I no longer need those faces. I can go ahead and select the front face. And then with the front face, actually let me go back, undo and undo. These look a little too straight, so I can go ahead and move them back a little bit to make them a little bit more sharper. Okay, now I can select this face, and I can go ahead and get maybe something called a bevel. You guys see a bevel? Bevel means it comes out, but it also becomes a little smaller. Do you guys see that? So I can go ahead and bevel that maybe all the way, like that. And then I can go ahead and move it. So now I have the whole body of the frontal body of the ship. Then what I could do is maybe right here I could go ahead and split this. So one I'll have where the cockpit kind of control there, and then maybe I'll add a tail. So I'll select that. You can see now, right now it's just one face, right? So if I go to the top view, I can split that face. So I can go ahead and right mouse click, say knife. I'll go from here, hold the shift key here, and I'll split it. I have two sections to the plane. So now I'll go outside of knife. Be careful, knife is still on. So make sure to deselect and you're going back. Now why did it split only that part? Because I only had that selected. That's why you didn't see the plane cut in half, right? It was just the top. Okay, so next I'm gonna go ahead and take that and I'm gonna go ahead and extrude inner. So extrude inner, and I'll go ahead and move that in a little bit. Then maybe extrude regular. No, I'll do a bevel. And then a bevel kind of can get me that. So I have something of that. Maybe I'll do one more, another bevel, so it has like multiple layers there. And then for this one, I'll go ahead and do a tail. So I'll extrude regular. Oops, no, I'll extrude inner. So what is extrude regular? If I did a regular extrude, just so you know, that's just going to move it up. And I don't want something to kind of hang up like that. Unless I really want to, that's different. But what I wanted to is I wanted to extrude inner so I can make that a little bit tinier. So I want the tail to kind of be tiny. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And then let's say I just want to scale it from this side. I can go ahead and use the scale tool. Scale it this way. Oops. Oh, it is working. There we go. I want the tail to be very, very tiny, but at the same time very large. So now that I have that, I can go ahead and move it just a tad. Just move it a little bit up so it looks like it's going up. And then I'm going to go ahead and extrude now. Now a regular extrude, I want it big. So I'm going to go ahead and move it really nice and big. But now you can see how it's big. I mean tall but skinny, so I can move that back to kind of get it into the shape where it's going. See, by just moving back and forth and using different type of extrudes, you can really get as much as you want. All right, I could keep going on, but you could definitely, let's say I want the engines. So I can grab the engine part, the engine right here, and I could do a quick bevel. So I can bevel it, right mouse click, bevel, so it brings it out. As you can see, it brings it out a little bit more. And then I'll do an extrude inner. Extrude inner. So I get that. And then I'll push that whole thing in the back there. So I can go ahead and say maybe bevel, but bevel backward. So actually undo. I'll just go ahead and do an extrude inner. So now it's in, but then I can take that and move it in. And now I got something like that. Okay. I can take the points, of course, like let's say from the front, I don't like them being square. Well, that's not a problem. I can go to points, select all these points. Remember, you can go to select. And in here, you want to make sure you're selecting all your points. So only visible elements, you can turn that off. So now when I select all these points here, shift select all these points here, I can make them anything I want. I can make them more rectangly if I wanted to, maybe more like different type of shapes. So I can go ahead and get it there. Okay, next I can do the same thing for the engine here in the back. So I can go ahead and get those faces as well and give them more detail. Shift select that. So undo. Now I could go ahead and bevel them out really big. Like I want really big engines. So I can right mouse click, say bevel. So now they kind of come out like this. And I want them to extrude inner. But really I'm going to go ahead and use them for outer. Inner. And then I can go ahead and push those in. I'll do one more inner and then push that in. So I can get really nice engines there. And I can do anything I want there. But anyway, you could go on and on.